Don't know what you have until you lose it. That should be the warning to Chelsea sporting directors now. Now, the whole issue concerning Enzo Maresca is heating up. It is getting serious, even if he's playing it down in the media. It is more serious than we seem. It is more even serious than we thought. Now, let's talk about sporting directors, because Manchester City are recently interested in getting Enzo Maresca if and only if Pep Guardiola says he's done with Manchester City and he wants to leave. Because as a coach who has attained the heights of Pep Guardiola, you are the one that can resign, not the club sacking you at this point. See, he has attained that level that he can willingly say, I'm done. I'll be resigning, or I'll be leaving at the end of the season, or at the end of 2 seasons, or like that. He has attained that level with lot of experience he has gathered, and also with the level of trophies he have won at Manchester City. Now, before we talk about Pep, because this video we're going to talk about Pep, we're going to talk about the sporting directors, we're going to talk about Manchester City, we're going to talk about Chelsea. It's going to be very lengthy and very educative, so stick around as we break things down. If you're new to this channel, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, join this family as we get into this sensitive topic concerning Enzo Maresca, Manchester City, Chelsea, and Manchester and the club itself. So let's get into it. Now, for Manchester City, they just got a new sporting director, and the new sporting director came from Sporting Lisbon. He's a good sporting director. He signed the likes of Gyökeres, Giovanni Kenda, and the rest. At Sporting Lisbon. Now, for Manchester City, they have something that's going on for them, longevity. In the sense that since they became this big club, they've not had more than 5 coaches. Right? They had Mancini, they had Pellegrini, and now Pep Guardiola. So they believe in sustainability. They believe in longevity in their projects. They are not the type of club that would put coach under severe pressure, to either win trophies or he gets sacked. No, they believe in that sustainability. They believe in that longevity. They believe in that growth for any coach. So that gives the coach so much comfort to do his job. Now, they don't only provide you with that, they provide you with A-list players. They provide you with experience, they provide you with youth, they have one of the best academies, they have one of the best training facility, they compete for every trophy every season, and they have a good transfer kitty. So which coach on the surface of this earth will not be attracted to such projects? That's one. Secondly, Enzo Maresca has been in the process. Enzo Maresca have understood what it takes to be a coach in Manchester City. This guy coached the under-21s. He was part of the glory system, or the part of the crop of players in the under-21, under-23 that did fantastic, that won the Premier League 2, in Manchester City. The likes of Cole Palmer, the likes of the Chelsea, the Lime Delap, and the rest. So he understands what it takes to be a coach at Manchester City. You understand the environment, you understand the principles, you understand what it takes to succeed in a very good environment of football. Right. Now, he moved on from there to be a coach at Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. So, majority of what Peps know today, he has impacted and he has instilled it into Maresca. That is that continuity I was talking about. So when it comes to the process, when it comes to the culture, when it comes to understanding what it means to be under that, be in the dugout for Manchester City at the senior level, Enzo Maresca understands that. Enzo Maresca was the assistant coach to Pep Guardiola and won the Champions League, so he knows a whole lot when it comes to Pep's system and what it takes to win. Because they have won consecutively and consistently at the club called Manchester City. So that is the culture there. Winning mentality, winning feeling, continuity, the culture. And they provide you with best amenities, best players, good transfer kitty, and everything for you to succeed. So that alone is an attraction for coaches. Now, let's move to when he left Manchester City. He went to Leicester City. In his first season, he won the league, the championship. That raised so many eyebrows concerning his ability to coach at the highest level. Now, Chelsea went in for him and got him over. The first season in Chelsea, he won the Conference League, which is the first time Chelsea are actually competing in that competition, which is expected. Also, he won the Club World Cup, qualified Chelsea for the Champions League. Perfect first season for Chelsea. Now, eyes were raised, brows were raised at that level already for Enzo Maresca. All right, so that alone is another incentive, is another conviction for Manchester City to see this guy as a successor to Pep Guardiola. Somebody who plays like Pep, who understands the winning mentality like Pep, who would succeed under that kind of environment because he has already done it. Now let's move to Chelsea sporting directors level. Now for Chelsea, the culture is not based on a succession or the longevity of a coach. It's based on the culture of what the new sporting directors and the new owners are working with. So with or without a coach who will stay long in the process or stay long in the Chelsea, dugouts, the plan continues. With or without Maresca, the plan continues. What is the plan? Acquiring young talents in Europe or around the world, developing them to be world beaters or one of the best in the world. And, at that point, win trophies or sell them off. That is the plan. So they are like getting young Galacticos. Now, the first thing, they had to get a coach who would work with that kind of players and would have a good success record. Now, when he played at Manchester City under 21, they work with young players. He was successful. He went to Leicester City. He worked with young talents. He was successful. Now, Chelsea saw that as a good fit. Remember, before Maresca, there was Pochettino. Before Pochettino, there was Tuchel. Under this same ownership. Now, Tuchel had a different ideology. Had a different plan. Had a different way of doing things under a whole coaching rule and umbrella with the club. Because he has coached PSG, Borussia Dortmund and the rest before coming to Chelsea. And it was under the previous ownership of Abramovich that things were done differently. So this was a different style entirely for him, which he wasn't used to. And he had to be sacked. Because there are so many terms and agreements that he is not giving into. Right. Now, when he left, Pochettino came, the same thing. He qualified Chelsea in his first season. I think he did well. Chelsea qualified for Conference League. And Chelsea played the Conference League. Now, they had to review him at the end of the season. And he got sacked. For obvious reasons. Now, they brought in Maresca. Now, once you have that mentality of always reviewing how... I know it's good for business. Because Chelsea owners are business guys. To review how the team did during the course of the season is good. But putting a coach under severe pressure to deliver, if not he will get fired, is not a good thing for football and for the coach. Yes, every coach already knows their plans and their strategy towards the end of the season. And they know if they have failed or if they are succeeding. Now, we'll also talk about Enzo Maresca's faults as well. Why he's under severe scrutiny at Chelsea. Now, also, for the sporting director's part, when you are giving a coach inexperienced players, it will tell during the course of the season. Under Pochettino, there was Thiago Silva. So there were a lot of leaking goals that were not too much under him. Yes, even if Chelsea didn't do well, If you look at Chelsea's squad of last season and this season, you will see a retrogression. Not because the club did not spend, but they spent in the wrong way. Now, who's the cause for that? The sporting directors and the ownership. After winning the Club World Cup, after winning those trophies, the Conference League, you need to improve the squad. So what are you improving the squad with? Are you improving the squad with João Felix leaving or Dewsbury Hall leaving and bringing Bunanote? He's talented, no doubt. Experience-wise, no. Are you selling or letting Sancho go and bringing in Gittins? Talent is there. Performance, no, not yet. So the squad has actually retrogressed a bit because you have a player like Kowe who got injured. No replacement. So there's a lot of things the technical crew or the sporting directors did wrong that is affecting the squad. So now that alone will affect Enzo Maresca. It will affect him, definitely. Now, let's talk about, because we've always, criticized Enzo Maresca when he does the wrong thing. But let's talk about what he has done right and what he has done wrong in Chelsea. First of all, we cannot say anything without his achievements, in which I've spoken about. He won the Conference League, the Club World Cup, and also qualified for the Champions League, which is good. Perfect for me. Now, another thing is his man management. Have you seen the relationship with Enzo Maresca and his players? Not all coaches have it. Not all coaches understand what it means to have a very good man management with a player. I've never heard Enzo Maresca fought with this player, had issues with this player. If he does, it doesn't come to the media. He keeps it in the dressing room. It shows, it makes player work to be on the starting 11. Yes, most of the time it doesn't, but majority of the time he does. Now, another thing Enzo Maresca has, he has a definite style of play. Enzo Maresca, you could accredit him to a style of play that suits his system, which is possession-based football. Pochettino had no style of play. You can't say this is how he plays. So, once you have an identity, that is a very good thing for a coach that can match the tactics of any coach around the world. Look at what he did to Luis Enrique. With a red card, he has smart Arteta. So, when it comes to that, brilliant. He has it. He's tactically sound. When it comes to that, he's tactically sound for that. He has his style of play. He has his formations. He knows how to maneuver team. He knows how to play those big games. So that is another reason Manchester City eyes are on him. Another way is managing injuries. Enzo Maresca has made us forget how worse the injury of James is of Fofana. It's just Lavia now that is remaining. Then Chelsea will be free from constant injury problems. That's not to say there would not be little injuries, but once it's come to the protagonists, the real people who are really, really injured for Chelsea, majority of the time, he has managed it well. And we have to give it to him. One of the things I respect him for. Look at James playing 90 minutes, playing consecutive games, playing in midfield, playing in right back. He knows how to play players in that position that can make them work. And also, the other way around. We will get to that. Alright. Now, Enzo Maresca as well has created a relationship with the fans. Yes, he might be criticized sometimes, but he has that relationship with fans. Fans now love him. That's one thing that you need as a coach to keep going. The love from the fans. He has it. Which is a good thing. He can be lovable with the fans. Now, what are the things he has done wrong that make fans sometimes get at him? Dropping points unnecessarily. losing those smaller games is a big problem. And most of those things were it's either accredited to injuries or accredited to too much rotation. And at the end of the day, he's at fault for that. Once you rotate players too much, play players out of possession, it will affect your rhythm. It will affect, how the players understand each other going forward. So that is a negative for Enzo Maresca. Right. Now, his changes most of the time are wrong. And he usually learns from it. But most of the time, he's really wrong with some of those changes. Playing players out of position. Look at the other day, he played Gusto at number 10 row. Sometimes playing players out of position is a problem. And most of the time, those mistakes from games are from the players, not him. You cannot tell me he's going to coach Tosin on the field on how to clear the ball out of touch. He's not going to teach Tosin on the pitch. And he cannot go 5 games, play for Fana 5 straight games. Tosin has to play. Achipong has to play. So those are another thing that we need to look into concerning Enzo Maresca. Those to me are his fault. When you drop point unnecessarily with smaller teams, and make some wrong changes, it will affect. Playing players out of position will affect. But when it comes to him all round as a good coach, yes, he's a good coach. We have to give it to him for that. Right. Now, if this eventually happens, because we are not giving anything to chance, who are the replacements for him? And 2 names come to mind. First is Rezonor. Rezonor in Strasbourg, who is doing a brilliant job, topping his Conference League chart at this point, table at this point. Doing a brilliant job, working with young players over there. But does he have the experience to be at a top club like Chelsea? Before Strasbourg, he coached Hull City. So, we know that Maresca does not have the experience, before he came to Chelsea. He had just under Pep and 1 season at Leicester. Now, for Rezonor, he has had 2 seasons at Strasbourg and also a few seasons also in the championship. But he has the good potential to be a very good coach. Will he work at Chelsea? That is a question you need to answer. Another name is Iraola, the coach who coached Bournemouth. Doing a brilliant job there. Look at what he did last season with Kekes, with Hoisin, with Zabanyi, with those players over there. Good season for them. He's doing it again after losing majority of his best players. These names I mentioned are of the club. They sold all of them, but he's still doing brilliantly this season. A young coach as well, a Spanish coach who is good tactically as well. So let's not give anything to chance. When Manchester City calls, only a few rejects. Let's not take away the fact that he might leave. If and only if Pep decides to step down. Only Pep currently can make this happen. If Pep says he's going, then I see Enzo Maresca leaving. And I will blame it to the sporting director, because you need to give your coach a good environment to work. Not always storming the dressing room every time he loses a game or draws a game. Leave that to him. That is his job. He will be the one to address that situation. I've stated the goods and the wrongs of Enzo Maresca. I've stated the sporting directors of both clubs. I've stated the culture of both clubs. I've stated the trophies, the achievements, the style of play, the managing injuries, and also the relationship with fans of Enzo Maresca. And I've also stated his replacements. So whichever one, put all of this together and tell me, if you're in Enzo Maresca's shoes, would you stay at Chelsea? That is a very, very huge question. You need to answer. But if you've watched this video up to this point, thank you so much. If you're new to this channel, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell. And I want to say this. The sporting directors need to leave their ego aside, because Chelsea fans will come hard on them if Enzo Maresca leaves. They need to keep him, because he is a very, very good coach that other clubs are eyeing So he has to stay and give him the leverage, give him the free hand to do his job. Until I come away again next time, I look forward to your subscription. I remain your boy Mike Way. Stay cool.